To start off our discussion, if I ask you, can you share with us your observation and your assessment of Sri Lanka's talent pool at present?
If you look at the talent pool, it's a very broad question. If you look at the professionals, there will be around 30 to 40% would have migrated within last 2 years. So Sri Lanka has a brilliant opportunity to attract the digital nomads. So we should do the similar strategy in Sri Lanka as well to attract more people to come and work. All of them work together. Now we speak about diversity. When they speak about diversity, generation gap as well into one factor, because we mix with all these generation people. You need to look at around what your companies are doing, what is the industry is doing, because HR is you got to manage people, to add value to the company. It is you compare against with the furniture or fittings or whatever. So you treat people as people and you understand their aspiration.
Sri Lanka's HR landscape has gone through many challenges with the brain drain and with lots of different generations being in the workforce at the same time. We're going to talk about all of this and more with Ken Vijayakumar. Stay tuned.
Some bonds give more returns. Get more security and more interest on your fixed deposits from Sri Lanka's largest finance company, LMDtv Finance.
Hello and welcome to LMDtv. The topic of conversation today is HR challenges, and we're in conversation with Ken Vijayakumar, the Senior General Manager of Human Resources, Administration, Purchasing and Sustainability at Baur & Company, who's also the President of CIPM Sri Lanka. Mr. Vijayakumar, thank you for being part of our show tonight.
Thank you for the invitation, and it's a pleasure talking to you as well.
To start off our discussion, if I ask you to give our audience a little bit of foundation, a little bit of background, can you share with us your observation and your assessment of Sri Lanka's talent pool at present?
Okay, Ruwandi, it's a good question. And say, if you look at the talent pool, it's a very broad question. Let me still limit it to the current professionals, in the country. If you look at, because if it is manufacturing sector, or it is farming sector, or other sector, there are much bigger sectors. But if you look at the professionals, there will be around 30 to 40% would have migrated within last 2 years for greener pastures. But other than that, if you look at or the other sectors like the apparel, the plantation workers, and from the cultivation and the farming sector, tea industry, I don't think there will be a bigger migration, because the most people who left the country are professionals like accountants, IT professionals, for the medical professionals, the doctors, maybe the engineers. Those are some of the people. Yeah, so I would say it's around 30 to 30% of professionals who left the country. However, the others, if you look at the generations, the generational group, it is not the baby boomers or the Gen X. It's mostly the millennials and Gen Z were looking for greener pastures. Even because why I say that, even when you work in our corporates as well, we didn't lose, because that's the evidence we have. Most people we have lost are from the Gen Y and Gen Zs. So that's what I came to because we don't have proper data prepared on the migration. It is said, around 300,000 people have left the country, 350,000, but there is no proper research done on this. So if you do an empirical study, then we will know. But it's estimated around 30% of the professionals who left the country. However, some of the people, in the sense, some of the professionals, they decided to stay back due to various reasons, like to take care of their parents, take care of their siblings, and also some people, they want to build a career with, I mean, the current economy. It's being, I would say, it is not in, really, we are not come over the, the crisis we had. But the good news is it is being turned around. So therefore, some people decided to stay back. This is what we get, from, the feedback we receive from, from the youngsters who we deal with. Um, so this is the estimate, but what the company is currently doing is, Ruwanti, they are sort of, upskilling and reskilling, the available talent pool, to, because everybody is doing a business, the business has to go on. So, I mean, this kind of trend we had throughout in this country, from last 30 years of war. We had seen the Eastern bomb attack, and and the current economic crisis. So Sri Lanka, we have been really resilient. So I would say, as an HR professional, we would look at it very positively, rather than talking about the problem every time. And so companies, I think, mostly they're having recruiting more younger talent again. They are turning around. Also, I would say most companies, they are opted to go for people who retired early, like in the 50s, 55s. They are, giving opportunity for them to uh, come to work. As the current trend, the life expectancy has gone up. So you bring people who are retired, who are really, fit, and, they are coming back. A lot of companies have given contractual employment for people. But having said that, in other countries like in Japan, they say the most productive age is from 60 to 70. And most CEOs in the I mean, Western world, or we look at Japan and all that, the 60 to 70 people have been considered for, for employment. So why can't Sri Lanka do it? I think companies adapting their strategies as well to bring those people, because I mean, they have the tacit knowledge, their experience, they make sound decisions. So that's one of the strategies has been considered.
Lot of innovations coming in, creative ways.
That's right. Yes.
Mr. Vijayakumar, if I ask you, like you said, companies are looking at bringing in, employees who would otherwise have been left out. Also, if we look at a little bit of who is left behind in the companies, what are corporates doing to um, keep the talent for, to retain the talent that is
Oh,
already
yeah.
there?
So as I said, yeah, companies do, they retrain, and they've been, reskilling and upskilling, and also, looking into their career progressions. If they remain in the system, what they would, how, they can grow with the company. And I know the inflation rate has really gone up, and the taxes has been increased. Then the disposable income is another problem for everyone in Sri Lanka. I'm sure you and me will also go, I mean, going through the same, problem. So companies are trying, looking at, increasing. Even some companies also, they're taking hit on, their cost, and trying to increase their facilities, their, the other fringe benefits to retain them. Also, company sponsored education program, trainings, etc., to keep them more motivated, and company looking at more welfare programs as well. You know, so keep retain the talent. So company, I mean, they are doing various other strategies as well, like welfare facilities, childcare, coming with innovative approach. I think with the COVID, we have started this flexi working hours, work from anywhere, uh, those strategies. And you work 1 day or 3 days from working from home, 2 days you go to office. So company looking at various other strategies, then we are quite used to it, because we have gone through this in during the COVID, then that connected with the economic crisis. So we are continuing to do that.
Resilient nation. Mr. Vijayakumar, looking at it from a national perspective, I mean, like you said, we have to look at it optimistically. From a country perspective, we talk of brain drain and then we talk of brain gain. How do you think Sri Lanka can attract more talent inside, whether it's Sri Lankans or non-Sri Lankans?
Oh, yeah, it's now see now the current trend is there is the other countries they are doing it digital nomads. If you now see now we have people because now most is some of these website ratings for Sri Lanka tourism. They say Sri Lanka is one of the safest countries for female travelers. You would have seen in the news, and some of these these tourist websites, the travelers website, they rated Sri Lanka as the fifth best nation to travel in 2024. So we need to take advantage of those, and so what they need is a quite a nice place of stay, and we need to improve the bandwidth of the broadband and fast internet. There's still we can bring down the digital nomads because they can work from they can work from anywhere, and all what they need is just a powerful connection in the laptop. So Sri Lanka has a brilliant opportunity to attract the digital nomads. Now, recently I read a statistic, somewhere. They say Canada is number one in attracting digital nomads because their broadband speed is much faster. So we have to give this infrastructure track people to work from anywhere else to work in Sri Lanka. Also, I was told many of these people who migrated are returning. That's what I said. We don't have statistics, but I was told the doctors are returning, and because some, when they like the middle age, like 30 to 40 years, someday it's too late to go and settle down in a country, probably due to climatical conditions, etc., and then other family commitments. Some of the people and they couldn't settle down. They are returning to Sri Lanka. That's the good news. I think it seems that as I said earlier, we need to look at things positively. Some of the people are returning, and also we can attract people, as I said before, by giving much better infrastructure facilities. So I'm sure, all these authorities should work on, bringing people down to Sri Lanka to work here. Now, see, like the other countries, they are making more expatriate. So you look at Malaysia, Singapore, and all that. It's very easy for an expat to go and settle and work, even not at the professional level, the other levels as well, like the helpers, the technicians, the housemaids, the nurses, etc. So we should do the similar strategy in Sri Lanka as well to attract more people to come and work.
It's time for a small break, but we'll soon be back to talk more about HR challenges.
What makes a truly awesome insurance company? Is it the skills to manage big numbers and big responsibilities? Well, that's definitely part of it. But there's more. It's the people. They're awesome. Super passionate about looking out for others and putting in their time for people's finances. It's not just the people. It's how we do things that's awesome. From being trendsetters of the industry to being connectors or inventors. It's about well-being and how we achieve it. Our teams hustle non-stop to meet the needs of the people. That's why we're on the rise. But it's not just about how we do things either. It's about how we improve things. Helping our clients thrive in a world that's full of awesome goals to achieve. Making the maximum out of the minimum. But wait, there's more to it. There's one last thing that truly makes an insurance company awesome. It's that we care about our people and our customers. All of this combined, it's been a pretty awesome year. And we're excited for tomorrow.
This
display your brand message on digital screens at prime locations. The largest digital advertising network in Sri Lanka. Emerging Media.
Welcome back to the show. We're in conversation with Ken Vijayakumar, the Senior General Manager of Human Resources, Administration, Purchasing and Sustainability at Baur and Company. I'm going to steer the conversation slightly to a different topic, but you mentioned this particular generation in one of your previous answers, Gen Z. We are all talking about them, how different they are, and they're coming into the workforce. So from an HR professional's perspective, how is this generation different to other generations in the workplace?
Actually, it's a good question. It is all about, how do we, get all of them to work together. Now we speak about diversity. When they speak about diversity, generation gap as well into, one factor, because we mix with all these generation people. So first of all, the baby boomers and Gen X, they should understand how to work with, because mostly if you look at in managerial position or senior managerial position, you have, the Gen X and the baby boomers are still there. So they need to understand the expectations of the other generation, like, the Gen Y and Gen Zs, or they call it now, they mix both together, those zillennials. That's the new term they use. Because these two zillennials, they expect, faster career development. And they want, more engagement, more involvement, rather than instructing them, you do this, do that. You got to say that, give me a proposal. What is your, suggestion for this? What do you think about it? Would you tell me an idea to overcome this? So here, what's happening here is a lot of this Gen Z and baby boomer, they don't understand the mindset of zillennials. So it is not the way of engaging them. When you engage them, you got to give opportunity. Okay, I'm giving you a challenging project. You give me, you come out with your own proposal. Then they are, they are involved, and they feel that they are recognized. They feel that these people are considering us. Otherwise, if you bring that good old management style, no, do what I say, and boss is always right. But it is not the boss is always right. We must look at the issue, not the people. So okay, I'm throwing a challenge, and this is what you do, and this is what I want. If you do this, you will get this. So you connect them to the challenging project, and once they do that, you give them a reward. Or say, if you do this, okay, I'll give you this promotion, or I'll give you this reward, or I'll give you an OC trip. So the zillennials are looking at, they should be recognized, they should be encouraged, they should be motivated. So it is not, not instructing them, not demanding from them. So you got to command respect by giving them more challenging work, and give more recognition to them, and also appreciate them for their contribution. So the baby boomers and Gen X to use this kind of strategy. Now, as you know, now the technology and what is called this AI. Now a lot of people are using AI, and ChatGPT, Copilot. So a lot of these, this early generation, like Z, the Gen X and baby boomers, they don't learn from the zillennials. So it's called the reverse mentoring. The term they use is reverse mentoring. So if you don't know something, you ask, you keep your ego out, say, how can I do this? Now, as you'll know, at the home front, the parents will always ask, their daughters and sons, can you set this up for me? And how do I, have a TikTok account? We would like to see, more videos in TikTok. Can you set a TikTok account for me? If we are asking at home, why can't we ask at our workplaces? So we need to think, even now, uh, for me, I have learned all these tactics. I do have a TikTok account, and so we need to change with the times.
And looking at it, like you were talking about how to manage and how to lead them. Looking at it from an HR perspective, in terms of, let's say, compensation, let's say performance appraisals, looking at traditional HR functions, what are the challenges for HR professionals to actually manage the Gen Z workforce?
Yeah, good question. Now, so that's the thing. So I would also recommend people to move from traditional way to modern way of doing it. If you are even like performance management, say you give objectives. So when you give objective, it is it's not one way communication. You know, so you got to talk to them. Say this is, can you achieve this? These are my expectation. What do you think? Can you achieve this within this time frame given to you? What support you need? Do you have enough staff? Do you have the tools? You have proper policies and procedures? So you got to ask this question, and you got to always ask them, I mean, what challenges how can I support you? How do I support you? Because now traditional approach is, no, this is what I want, you do this. If you can't do this, you pack your things, then you get out. And that's the way traditionally we use. But nowadays it has all changed. You got to think, in a more modern way. When you do set, goals and objectives, you talk to them, ask them, why do you say that you can't achieve this? Then you ask for justification. Then they will say, no, this is the tough market, and I need to go out and reach to the customers, and I need, I mean, couple of more people, because you say, go to, we'll say outstation somewhere and increase the market share. So then they'll ask for more resources. Then you say, okay, justify. Okay, I'll give you resources. Will you be able to achieve, bring more revenue? Then it is like, it's a transactional approach, but it is good. Otherwise, you just give a one-way communication, which they say, yeah, they say, for fear of their losing job, they say yes, yes, yes. Ultimately, they won't be able to achieve. The end of the year, they will say, you just gave me some goals and I accepted it, but I couldn't achieve it. Then it is not a conducive environment, to have a proper conversation. Then ultimately, the company or whatever you manage, it fails. So that's a special skill you need to have to engage young the zillennials. So that is one. And if you look at compensation and benefits, you must always look at, at least every 2 years you need to do a market survey, because you can't help, because you have limited resources. The resources are so limited. So companies are, taking the best. So if you want to attract the best, you got to give them the best. So then you look at your employee value proposition. I mean, when the employee join your company against your competitors, I mean, they always compare. What do we give? So then you will work in a competitive environment. You look at what other companies are doing. So the current challenge of HR professionals, it's quite, it's not like, I mean, those days. You need to look at around what your companies are doing, what is the industry is doing, and because HR is, you got to manage people, to add value to the company. Vice versa, you got to, you have to work with the management to see whether your HR practices are in par with the competitors. And the social media is so powerful now. So every company, is using social media to, increase their brand value in terms of employee attraction. Some we have seen, companies are using of LinkedIn platform. All these company engagement programs are being, the photographs being put. So then see, okay, this company is so happening place, but because the zillennials is looking at a cool place to work. So what do you mean by cool place? Whether we would, whilst working, what are the other activities we have? Are we enjoying the work? So the workplace has become more a place like to have, you have, you work, Whilst working, you should have little fun as well. Kind of environment you would create for, the Zillions to come and join you.
Very different ways, Mr. Vijayakumar, but it's very interesting when you put it like that. Would love to extend the conversation, but I've actually come to the end of our discussion. But before we let you go, I want to ask you, are there any concluding thoughts that you'd like to share with our audience today?
Concluding thoughts, yes. What people, okay, I mean, this message to most HR professionals out there, or to even anybody who manage people. So people management is taken a different turn. So because almost they say people are the biggest assets, I would say don't treat them as assets. You treat people as people. Otherwise, if you take is a bigger asset means it is you compare against with the furniture or fittings or whatever. So you treat people as people and you understand their aspiration. You need to and have more empathy on them and don't treat people, don't treat everybody. You can't have a people strategy for as a whole. You look at each individual needs. So that's what now there's a ratio for HR. They say international ratio to manage HR. There's one person for 100 employees. But I would say people should look at rethinking about it. You need to have more people in HR because you need to give individual attention to people's need. Otherwise, the HR managers are the professionals too busy in managing, more administrative work. Giving letters, preparing the documentation, and preparation of salaries. All this administrative work, leave it to the technology. The technology will take care of that, and the HR folks has to go into the operations, talk to them on a daily basis, to visit. I mean, just have a conversation with them. How happy they are in the workplace. That is the way you got to manage people, rather than just only doing the mere administrative role. But I would say still, Sri Lanka in the crossroads. A lot of companies are, I mean, thinking about to change to have more HR practices. But I would say, to message to all, we have to invest more on people means, more on HR department, bring more HR professionals, bring more people to, because this ratio for 1 to 100, it's now is being outdated. I mean, to 100 people managing one person, you do not have time to speak to them. So focus on more attention, more taking approach of coaching, career counseling, and more to have more one-on-ones with your employees, to make to look after them, because whatever technology or people say AI will not, I would say they will not replace people, because AI, generative AI, Gen AI will create more employment opportunities.
We've been talking with Ken Vijayakumar, the Senior General Manager of Human Resources, Administration, Purchasing and Sustainability at Baur and Company, who's also the President of CIPM Sri Lanka. Mr. Vijayakumar, thank you for an insightful conversation. It was lovely and very optimistic perspectives. It was lovely chatting with you.
Thank you, Ruwandi, for the opportunity, and we'll chat sometime.
And to all our viewers, thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, take care.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for watching and stay safe.